Have you ever wondered why the times you feel most drained aren't because of work or the world outside, but because of your own emotions shaped by the very people you trust most? We're taught that family is a safe haven, a place of unconditional love, and that those who share your blood will always protect you. But the truth isn't always that simple. Sometimes, subtle, quiet actions from loved ones can hurt in ways you don't notice right away. An offhand comment, a cold glance, or a helpful gesture can actually be a form of control, making you doubt your feelings or question your worth. Toxic behaviors aren't always obvious. They're subtle, hidden beneath advice, concern, or assistance. They chip away at your mind and emotions, leading you to blame yourself, second-guess your reactions, and slowly lose your sense of peace. You might wonder if you're overreacting or apologize when you don't need to. This is how manipulation works, not with force, but by sowing self-doubt. Here's the key: toxicity doesn't make you weak. It highlights what you most need to protect. By recognizing emotional manipulation, constant disrespect, boundary violations, disguised envy, or blame without responsibility, you take the first steps toward awakening and reclaiming control over your life. You realize you don't have to endure everything just because it's a loved one. You have the right to safeguard your emotional world. Once you see this, you understand that inner freedom is a choice, not a gift. You don't need approval or validation to feel at peace. You have the right to say no, pause under pressure, and set boundaries. This freedom isn't just about avoiding toxicity. It's about choosing people and relationships that lift you, support your growth, and respect your true self. Most importantly, every small step you take is an act of self-love. Every pause, every breath, every choice to respond from truth rather than pressure strengthens your inner power, restores clarity and calm, and gradually breaks the cycle of toxicity that repeats across generations. Start today. Listen to your emotions. Notice the small signals, the tightness in your chest, the weight in your stomach, or the inner voice saying, "This doesn't feel right." These are your wisdom speaking. When you honor them, you're choosing yourself and opening a path where peace and emotional freedom become real. Behavior 1. Emotional manipulation. Have you ever felt like you're swimming in someone else's emotions instead of your own? In families, the deepest hurts sometimes don't come from outsiders, but from those closest to us, people you once trusted to feel safe. Emotional manipulation is subtle yet powerful, quietly shaping how you perceive yourself. It appears as light comments, a sigh full of judgment, or silence used as a weapon. When loved ones use fear, guilt, or emotional withdrawal to control you, your mind may not recognize the danger. Instead, you feel confused, blame yourself, and sometimes apologize unnecessarily. The greatest danger is that emotional manipulation often comes from someone you trusted and expected support from. You may shrink yourself, accommodate others to maintain a fake peace, and your strongest self gradually becomes quiet, jing, and hesitant. But manipulation never stops on its own. It requires your intervention. Recognizing the pattern helps you separate guilt from your reactions. Stay calm and set clear boundaries. Stopping automatic responses to the manipulator's script breaks their power, restores clarity, and reclaims self-control. Pause. Breath. and response from truth rather than pressure strengthens your boundaries and protects your emotional world. Practicing this isn't cold or indifferent. It's creating inner freedom and self-mastery. You'll notice your own power grow. Your ability to identify toxic behavior sharpen, and you'll step into true freedom, no longer controlled by others' emotions or expectations. If you've ever experienced emotional manipulation, try pausing before reacting today and observe your feelings. You'll be surprised by the inner strength you already possess. Behavior 2. Persistent disrespect. Have you ever felt belittled, even when no one said it out loud? Small. Repeated actions can have a deeper impact than you realize. Continuous disrespect is one of the most silent but dangerous toxic behaviors in a family. It doesn't always come as insults or big arguments. Sometimes it's subtle, a shrug, a mocking smile, or a quiet remark that makes you feel judged or undervalued. These small actions, repeated over time, build up like a silent storm, lowering your self-worth and confidence. Family members might not realize the effect of these behaviors. They may see them as personality traits or family culture. But disrespect is a behavior, and behaviors can change. You have every right to set boundaries, stop internalizing negativity, and protect your self-respect. Every time you stay silent to keep the peace, you lose a bit of your personal power. Recognizing disrespect requires calm and consistency. You don't need to yell or overreact, simply naming the behavior, calmly expressing your view, and refusing to allow boundaries to be crossed protects you. By not internalizing disrespect, you maintain clarity and affirm your right to be valued. Disrespect doesn't just affect emotions, it shapes your behavior and choices. You may adjust your words, actions, or decisions to avoid mockery or gain acceptance. That's how silent disrespect subtly controls life. But once you learn to recognize it and stand up for yourself, you break the cycle, creating a space where you can live according to your values and decisions. The beauty is that by setting boundaries, you also help others see how to interact. Mutual respect grows from your clarity and firmness. You learn who is trustworthy, who needs reminders, and most importantly, you don't need anyone's permission to live with respect and emotional peace. Today, notice a small situation where you usually feel belittled and calmly say, "This doesn't work for me." You'll feel the difference immediately. Your voice and presence become stronger, and you reclaim your personal power. You deserve respect not just from others, but first and foremost from yourself. Behavior 3. Boundary violations. Do you feel like others are living your life for you? Boundary violations happen when loved ones intrude into your space, time, emotions, or decisions without permission. It can start small, reading private messages, giving unsolicited opinions about your career, or demanding detailed explanations about your personal life. Over time, you may adjust your life to avoid conflict, hide yourself, and lose control. Many cultures teach that family has the right to know everything, but respecting boundaries is your right. Setting clear boundaries isn't about creating conflict, it's about self-protection. You can state your limits once, stay calm, and refuse to sacrifice yourself to please others. Boundaries help you distinguish who deserves access, and free you from living according to others' expectations. With practice, clarity becomes power. No yelling or over-explaining is needed, just consistency. Loved ones will either learn to respect you or you'll clearly see who doesn't deserve access to your life. Establishing boundaries helps you reclaim control and live in alignment with your values. Practicing boundaries also protects you from other toxic behaviors while creating a safe emotional environment for yourself. You learn to prioritize your right to live fully and freely. This is the foundation for genuine freedom, peace, and happiness. Start today. Choose one important boundary and calmly say no. You'll feel the power and freedom within yourself. Behavior 4. Jealousy disguised as advice. Have you ever received advice that sounded good but made you doubt yourself and shrink your dreams? That's subtle envy at work. In families, toxic behaviors don't always come as violence or insults. They can hide in seemingly harmless advice. Envy disguised as guidance is one of the most silent yet deep forms of harm. At first, you may think a loved one is just looking out for you. Are you sure this is the best choice? I'm just worried about you. It sounds caring, but over time you realize they're dimming your light, making you question yourself, and delaying your actions. The danger is that the person giving advice often doesn't realize the impact. Some unknowingly do it because they've never learned to trust themselves, feel anxious as you grow and succeed, or fear your pursuit of dreams they haven't dared to chase. Instead of celebrating you, they use advice to protect themselves from insecurity. The effect on you is profound. You start doubting decisions, postponing plans, hiding your dreams, and shrinking yourself to avoid upsetting others. This erodes confidence and control over your life, gradually teaching you to put your dreams after someone else's fears, which can destroy self-trust and autonomy. The solution is learning to distinguish genuine advice from envy in disguise. When advice makes you doubt yourself, observe the behavior, not just the words. Only accept guidance from those who truly want you to grow, support your success, and don't shrink you. Doing this clears the emotional fog of envy and allows you to thrive naturally without guilt or apology for pursuing what you want. Applying this strategy helps you hold on to your dreams, trust your decisions, and live by your values even when others disagree. You create a circle of supporters who lift you up rather than make you feel small or anxious. Today, notice the advice you receive. Identify which lifts you up and which hides envy. Choose your energy. Protect your dreams and reclaim control of your life. By doing so, you not only safeguard yourself, but open the door to growth, freedom, and confidence like never before. Behavior 5. Blaming without taking responsibility. Do you feel like you're always carrying the burden for others' mistakes? This is one of the most subtle yet deeply harmful behaviors. In families, constant blaming often comes in small but heavy forms. Parents, siblings, or relatives may shift blame onto you for things they caused or for their emotions. Over time, you learn to apologize even when innocent, carry burdens that aren't yours, and question whether you're at fault. The result is that you become an emotional manager, always predicting others' reactions, adjusting your behavior, and making decisions to avoid conflict rather than living authentically. This toxic pattern drains your mental energy, erodes freedom, and undermines confidence. The solution is to refuse internalizing their story, hold on to the truth, and name the behavior accurately. When you stop participating in the blame game, their manipulative power collapses, and you reclaim clarity, strength, and emotional freedom. Practicing this doesn't make you harsh. It protects your mental health, preserves clarity, and allows you to live according to your values. Every small step, breathing, pausing before reacting, standing firm against blame, helps you break the old cycle, distinguish your responsibility from theirs, and move into a new chapter where you are fully free to choose your emotions, boundaries, and life. Try identifying a recent blaming situation and hold the truth for yourself. This way, you not only protect yourself, but also learn to live with clarity, confidence, and peace. Conclusion. Do you realize that the most subtle yet powerful behaviors are often the ones that have held you back for years? After facing the 5 most serious toxic behaviors: emotional manipulation, persistent disrespect, boundary violations, jealousy disguised as advice, and blaming without responsibility, one truth becomes clear. Real power isn't about controlling others. It's about recognizing patterns, setting boundaries, and protecting yourself. Each behavior tries to control your emotions, confidence, and choices. But once you understand its impact, true power is in your hands, not theirs. Recognizing toxicity doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger, more alert, and wiser. By pausing to respond from truth, staying calm in the face of disrespect, and asserting your boundaries, you break negative cycles and create space to grow. This is the first step to living with clarity and knowing who and what deserves a place in your emotional world. Another key lesson: you don't need permission to be free. No one has the right to control your emotions, decisions, or actions just because their family or once helped you. Freedom and control over your life are basic, non-negotiable rights, and defending them is an act of self-love, not selfishness. By practicing each step, pausing before reacting, calmly saying no, refusing to be manipulated, you reinforce your inner strength. You not only escape emotional exhaustion, but also create a space where respect, value, and unconditional love come first. You learn to choose healthy relationships that honor your dreams, boundaries, and emotions. Start today. Pick one toxic behavior you've experienced and respond with full control. Even one small action lets you feel real power and peace. You deserve a life where your emotions are yours, and no one can take that away. Stepping out of old cycles, honoring yourself, and choosing peace is the strongest act of self-love you'll ever take.